I'm going to talk about two epiphanies. I'm going to talk about saunatimes.com, which is a website I founded 5 years ago. And I'm going to talk about building saunas in Minnesota, where I live. And then I'm going to leave with like a couple cliches or aphorisms, if you will. Okay, epiphany number one. It was later in the 70s, and the needle on the record player went down on track one, song one of the first Clash album, and it just totally blew me away. It was nonconformity, it was DIY, it was fun, it was exciting, and it was different, okay? And my second epiphany was about 7, 8 years later. While Mikkel was traveling around the world digging deep into sweat, I was hitchhiking through Scandinavia, and my backpack, every stitch of clothing drenched to the bone. No skin on my body was without a mosquito bite, and we were, me and my buddy were extremely desperate, and we got picked up by two kind-hearted a couple, and I had my first experience to the Scandinavian sauna, and it blew me away, and quite frankly, it changed my life. That's why I'm standing here. And so those are my two epiphanies, okay? And Sauna Times, all right, this website I founded about 5 years ago, and I founded it with basically three things in mind, you know, the health and wellness, escape, and fun. Okay, now fun is part of this whole this whole thing about in Finland. I think fun may not be the first word to come into play, but we talked yesterday a little bit about is there an American sauna? And I would throw into the mix, and I'm open for any hand going up there, but I think what Americans have done has taken the authentic Finnish sauna thing and injected an element of fun. A sauna party. I mean, I know in Finland there are sauna parties, and you go out to the countryside in cottages and you have beers between rounds and stuff. But I would say that that's a little bit of an Americanization, implementing that third element, fun. Okay? So with Sauna Times, it's a very inclusive thing, and I would say that the punk rock movement was all about that. It was inclusive, okay? And so that's the sort of the ethos that I'm trying to bring forward with Sauna Times. If you could, Mikkel, just scroll down like, right down and see under more hot air. What it is you can see some of the elements that come to play as these posts and contributions come forward. It's not just me writing about it, but this thing starts to take on an organic nature. And I don't know how well you can see some of these things, but the bigger words would be like backyard sauna, benefits, building, cool down, escape, health and wellness, how-to, lolu, outdoor sauna, wood burning, and that whole thing. Okay, so any questions right now?
Wait, is this it's just from your website, or is this searching the web?
Strictly saunatimes.com, okay? If you want to click just on this one right here, inclusion, I'd like to think like in back to this music metaphor, maybe like this is a record label, and we're looking for artists, okay? And here's an artist right here. If you could scroll down to this post, there's a sauna build in central Wisconsin which comes off without a hitch. This person found me on the website, and they staked off their area in their backyard. Keep scrolling down. And then they shelled it up. Keep going down. The process was slow. Hang on a sec. This person has a real job, like most of us in this room, And so the free time allowed to build their own in their backyard was limited, and you can see the development of their backyard sauna, okay? And I don't know if I could put a Finn on the spot right here, just at sight, from 1 to 10. Just on looking at these photos, what number would you give it in terms of 1 being completely lame and 10 being, wow, that's real? Anyone want to throw a number? And I take no offense, because I didn't build this one.
I got an 8 back here.
An 8?
Yeah, I'll give you an 8.
Okay. Oh. Hey, that's a Russian talking. Okay, now I want to say something here. Right on. I want to say something right here. This is not something I approve of. Everything I write about on Sauna Times is wood. I am. Yeah. Yeah. But I'll. Michael, I will go one step forward. Okay, the thing about Sauna Times is is I'm stretching deep, and I'm stretching deep meaning like wood. Wood burning is all. I have 2 wood burning saunas, one in northern Minnesota at our cottage, one in my backyard in Minneapolis, okay? And I've built 8 to 10 saunas for other people, all wood, okay? I have an ebook, and I charge $20 for the ebook, not because I'm an American capitalist, Michael, but because I want to put value to this product. Okay, there's a yes. I couldn't agree more. Totally agree. Totally agree. Okay, so this is Sauna Times, all right? And now, yes. How many eyeballs? You know, okay, and I appreciate that question, but here's the thing. My day job is with Nestle, and it's not about internet marketing per se, but the thing that I have a mental wall with Sauna Times against like monetizing it and how many eyeballs. And so, Clint, do you want to speak to that?
I can answer that question. I do the
Clint's a fellow Minneapolitan.
I don't know that if I need the mic or not. I run the analytics on the back end of Glenn's site, and it's about 8,000 visits a month. Now, for a lot of websites, that wouldn't be much at all. For a sauna website, I think that's pretty remarkable for something so niche as that. And also, the other thing I like about Glenn's site, and there's a couple other here in the room, I encourage you to visit it because there are very few sites online where people are talking about sauna culture and they're not hawking a bunch of products. Yeah, so it's nice. I wish there were more of those.
Yeah, I try to stay really true to that. Be objective as possible and inclusive as possible. Okay, so my wife took these photos. She's a professional photographer, and so the evolution of Sauna Times is a passion toward building, not as a tool belt. I didn't come up here wearing a tool belt and talking about that element to it. I'm just like a middle class guy. I work for Nestle, and so I'm in sales. But I have some good basic tools, and this site has evolved into this process where I build saunas, and I'll do that for people. I make them sign a waiver to say, hey, I'm not a professional contractor. I'm going to do a great job. I'm going to put my heart and soul into this, which is what I do. I have a huge passion. I love building. So I do this. I build these for select clients. But mainly, I want to encourage people to build their own or find a contractor and advance this authentic sauna thing in a home environment. So, yes?
Can you buy prefab saunas like this?
You can buy prefab saunas in Minnesota. In Cokato, Minnesota, is Finliu. And you guys familiar with Finliu? Yeah. Okay, and they sell prefab kits. Not a world I go in. And I'll tell you real quick, okay? So if you want to just scroll through and take a look at the photos, you'll see a little bit. This is my 8x12 design, all right? And I designed this thing without any knowledge of practices. But really, what's important for me is there's a lot of threes in sauna, and I like to take 3 complete sauna rounds, and I don't feel complete until that's done. So everything I think about is 3, because when I get to 4, I can't remember number 1. So it's a lot easier 3. So 3, okay, 3 zones: hot room, changing room, outside. Very significant. And I didn't know about this cold that you speak about, Dr. Burgell. Yeah, I didn't know about this. So I call it the rubber band theory of sauna, right, where the full expanse, right? And like nobody taught me about these things. I had to sort of figure it out. Clint and I talk about this Minneapolis crew. Okay, so the other thing is, in the hot room, 7-foot high ceilings, 24-inch wide benches, and a kick-ass sauna stove. Another motivator for me is in the northern reaches of Minnesota, and it's referenced in The Opposite of Cold, Michael's book. A wonderful sauna stove maker. He's 3rd-generation Finnish immigrant, does all his own welding. It's a kick-ass sauna stove, and I would put it up against the Harvia or any stove made in the world. It fuels me. It's almost like Harvia could be Miller or Budweiser, and this guy is making a great microbrew. All DIY. Yeah. Okay, so the brand name is Kuma.
What kind of stove you have there?
When I build a sauna, I own 2 Kuma stoves.
But what you have is specifically here?
The wood-burning small Kuma stove.
Where?
In the hot room.
You don't see it anywhere.
Oh yeah, okay, the funny story is this. So I evolved this
The
process.
only thing I'm interested in, how high is the stove compared to the bench where you have your feet?
Yeah, it's on the low bench is probably just a little bit higher than the top of the sauna stove. Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
first law of loading.
Yeah, right. Nice. Okay, so in conclusion, I would love more hands to be raised. Yes?
You must have your feet a little above. You must have your feet a little above the level of the stones, because then your feet are heated.
So Mikkel wanted me to
Most of the saunas do not have that.
Mikkel wanted me to address lame saunas in North America, okay? And I'm going to flip it around and take the positive side to this. And I want to use the expression, the rising tide lifts all boats, all right? And I love the fact that there are commercial spas, banyas, the folks in this audience here who are promoting this public element, which I know is very dear to Mikkel's heart. And what you're seeing here in Minnesota in this movement is that you can create this in your backyard, okay? That's kind of the tone I'm going. Yeah, thank you. But what it is, it's the rising tide is lifting all boats, okay? We're raising awareness to authenticity and appreciation and a nod to Finland, you know, what I call like the Mecca or the home place, and the Russian banya, and adapting this. So when people experience what a true sauna is and a good sweat, they will help support the commercial industry, which is what there's a big drive for. And that's what I'm impassioned with. All right. And I'd like to- Michael.
There's really an immense appetite for people to get the right information. You know, I hear it a lot when I present my book, and my book certainly wasn't put out there as a how-to book, but I think the internet is the perfect forum for places where you can put examples out there, where people can comment on examples, where they can explain the simple pitfalls. I mean, there's really only a few things, and you see them over and over again, the things that people who don't really understand the form do wrong. And it's bench location, stove placement, really, and then maybe overall room flow, you know, the way they don't really understand how the room's going to be used in the long run. And I'd just like to say that I really love your site, and I visit it often and refer people to it instead of maybe even a hard copy how-to thing, because it's so much more dynamic. And, you know, for me, I mean, when I need to fix my lawnmower or change the windshield wiper motor on my Honda, I mean, I go to the internet because there are so many people out there who are willing to share this really good quality information. And so anyway, thanks, appreciate it.
And inclusion is a big word. Anybody in this room that would like to write an article or submit to write a piece, I encourage you to click around on Sauna Times, and I would be honored. I am
Going to get material later on.
very, very good. And then the other thing I'll say,
I was only wanting, because your speech
About this real Finnish sauna was so good, so I hope you sit on this one later on and remember really what you
well,
heard is.
okay, Risto, I in the spirit of trade, I would like to send you a nice mug kit. Being an American capitalist, I will mail this to you.